To our big story now, the FBI is looking into a very disturbing case near Seattle. A young man, months from graduating, goes missing, only to be found a month later dead, hanging from a tree. 18-year-old Ben Keita. His parents are searching for answers. They do not believe their son was suicidal.
No history of depression, anxiety, any psychological breakdown at all whatsoever. So he was a very young, happy young man.
Christy Paul is joining us now. Maybe you can update our viewers on how this all started and the steps in this case.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so sad out of Seattle. This is actually a suburb. Lake Stevens is where it is, and we're talking about 18-year-old Ben Keita, who disappeared. Michaela, as you said, this was just after Thanksgiving. Disappeared last year. He was found January 9th. Now, there were searches done in an area where he was eventually found, but at that time, they had found nothing. Investigators left, went back several, it seems, at least a time later, and that's when Keita was found hanging from a tree. The autopsy initially did read suicide, as you mentioned, but Ben's parents pushed for a reclassification, saying this just doesn't make sense. This wasn't their son. Officials agreed with that reclassification, and it's now listed as undetermined. Now, I want to point out the rope that he was found with was attached to a branch 50 feet in the air, which is said to be unusual in a suicide. However, police say as of now, they do not see any evidence of a crime.
There's a lot of questions in this. I know that the family, having spoken to them, to one of their representatives last hour, they are really pushing for the FBI to investigate. And the question becomes, you know, how is that determination made, and is it close to being? I know the FBI is looking into it, but they haven't said they're going to launch a full-fledged investigation.
There is. You're absolutely right. The family has approached the FBI. The FBI, as you mentioned, just to clarify here for our viewers, they haven't opened an investigation. They are, however, looking into it right now, is how they're classifying it. They're reviewing the case, is the characterization they're giving it. But I want to toss to some sound, Michaela, from the spokesperson that you talked to earlier for the Council on American-Islamic Relations. This is an advocacy group, of course, working with the family. Let's listen to what they had to say about where it goes from here.
The family's greatest hope is that someone out there will come forward with information about the circumstances or any persons who might have been involved and call 911 or contact the FBI Seattle office so that law enforcement can fully investigate this and understand what may have led to this young man's death.
Their hope, obviously, is to find out what happened, because they do not believe, they are adamant, Michaela, that this was not a suicide. If you have any information, you can contact the Lake Stevens Police Department there in Washington. That is the family's hope, that maybe this will spark a memory for somebody who might have seen something or heard something.
The family's concerned that not enough of his proximates, his friends, his colleagues were spoken to. They believe that the rope that he was found hanging from was far too high for someone to commit suicide. They believe that the initial investigation was far too short. They are simply devastated, saying this was a happy-go-lucky young man who had no issue of depression or mental health issues. This is a troubling story, to be sure.
And I'm sure, Michaela, that the fact that investigators went to the area, they found nothing, they left, and then went back to the area, and that's when they found the body. That adds to the mystery of what happened here, no doubt about it.
Certainly. All right, Christy, thank you so much. Hopefully there'll be some answers to that family, that grieving family, soon.